Going live on YouTube as well. GM, welcome everybody. How are you guys doing? I don't see any GMs in the chat. I don't like that. I'm not
Nobody's
gonna I'm not
having it.
gonna start. Yeah, I'm not gonna start the there we go. It's if it's no GM, then there's like there's another good way. There we go. There we go. Nice. So we are live on YouTube as well. That's nice to see. I think we're ready. So I'll just do the intros and I'll give it over to you. Okay. So welcome everybody. Welcome back. This is day 4 of the Reignite Hackathon. I hope you all had a productive office hour session with the Reignite mentors. Now it's time to explore the mobile development on Starknet. Just a quick reminders before we start this workshop. We're halfway through our hackathon, so keep the momentum going. Join the Telegram chat if you haven't joined it yet. And if you have any Q&A for this workshop, you can put it in the Q&A section. And just a reminder for everybody, this session is being recorded. Today's workshop is perfect for everyone who's targeting the $10,000 mobile apps bounty sponsored by Starkware. Mobile is crucial for mainstream adoption. There's already a great example, such as Focus Free. If you haven't heard it out, you can try it out. Um, and I'm extremely excited to introduce Brandon from this Starkware from the exploration team, who will guide you through the Starknet.dart SDK. You'll learn the basics, build a counterexample, even probably create a mobile wallet, probably. This is hands-on learning, so thank you, Brandon, for joining. Welcome, and the stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks for the intro. I appreciate it. Like you had said, I'm Brandon with Starkware for about a year and a half now, building a lot of cool projects like Art Piece and some other stuff that's under the radar right now, but hopefully we'll have more info soon. But yeah, I guess I'll get started. I will start with I have like a couple slides to just give a basic intro to what I'll be doing, and then after that, it will be mainly digging through the code and building an app. So let me share my screen. Get some stuff around first. Okay. I hope y'all can see. All good.
Yes, all good.
Okay, cool. So I'll be doing a workshop on Starknet Dart. And yeah, let's build a mobile app with Starknet Dart. So essentially, Starknet Dart is uh, it's an SDK for the Dart language. Dart is like an efficient cross-platform object-oriented language that was invented by Google. It's super good for developing quick apps and super efficient apps as well. Um, a lot of stuff on the App Store is running on Flutter, which I'll get into on the next slide. But essentially, yes, this Starknet Dart allows you to access Starknet from the Dart language. Uh, and it also has like a bunch of packages that make using Starknet more secure and easier on your phone. Like for instance, they have a wallet kit for integrating wallets really easily into your app. They have like biometric packages to allow you to secure your private keys and stuff using biometrics really easily, as well as integrating things like Avenue Paymaster, which allows you to do Paymaster. So essentially, you would front the cost of fees for your users so they can onboard in a couple clicks without having to like fund their wallets and all of that. So yeah, the Starknet Dart package makes all of that super easy. Um, we'll be using Flutter in this workshop, which is essentially just a framework around Dart. It's not related to Starknet, but it's a project that's also developed by Google. Comes with a bunch of useful UI tools and things for rapid development, so you can build super quickly. which hopefully you'll see today if you haven't used Flutter yet. Um, so why would we want to use Starknet.dart? So essentially, we want to be able to use the super powerful toolkit made by Google, Flutter and Dart, and we want to be able to build Starknet apps. So in order to easily integrate those, we will be using Starknet.dart, super useful toolkit that's already being used by some really large apps. I think Robert had just mentioned like Focus Tree, which has like hundreds of thousands of daily active users. I believe they've had millions of users in total. Maybe not all with Starknet Dart yet, but over the lifetime of the app. Yeah, so lots of really big teams building on it and more coming soon, I believe. Um, I've been trying to build like an art piece integration with Flutter and Starknet Dart as well. So yeah, hopefully we can have some cool stuff going on with it in the future, or some even more cool stuff, I should say. So in this workshop, I'm planning to set up my development environment, or at least go through the instructions of how you could set up your development environment. And then we will build a counter example, essentially just an app that you press a button and it counts a number, but it will be integrated with Starknet. So it'll be like the most simple kind of app you can make to integrate Starknet into your mobile Flutter app. And then we'll do something a little more complex, create a wallet app that allows you to deploy an account on Starknet and then use the account to use Starknet in general. And then after that, we'll integrate custom Starknet calls. So like in the wallet app and counter app, there will be calls already set up to increment and decrement the counters and integrate with the wallet. But we will build a custom Starknet call so you can easily change it to integrate your contracts that you want to build. So yeah, that's it. Let's go into the meat and potatoes, I guess. So, okay. So what I'll be mainly doing is going through the Starknet Dart documentation. Um, I'll go through the counter example, which includes the setup steps here, and then we'll go from there. So essentially, what you'll need to build with Starknet Dart is these three packages: Scarb, Starknet DevNet, and Starkly. Scarb will essentially let you run your contracts and build them. Starknet DevNet will be your development environment for running your contracts, and then Starkly will be how you deploy your contracts to the DevNet. I already have these set up on my local machine, but essentially you would run something like ASDF add plugin and then Scarb, and then you would do the same thing. ASDF add plugin Scarb. Is that not right? Oh, sorry. ASDF plugin add Scarb. It says I already added it. And then you would do the same thing for Starknet DevNet. And then Starkly. Oops. Yeah, Starkly. And then after that, this pretty much would install the plugins. And then you would run these commands from the documentation to get the correct version set up on your machine. And then once you do that, you should be able to do things like scarb dash dash version to check that you are on the correct version here. So this is the version number, and I'm on version 284. And you could do the same thing with the DevNet and Starkly to make sure you're on the right versions. And then essentially, so if you really want to go into like the weeds of how everything's working, I'd recommend looking at these docs. And they kind of go through each of the contracts and explain a bit of what's going on in all the files. But to make things quicker for the workshop, you can actually just clone the Starknet Dart repo. So if you go to the Starknet Dart GitHub page and then clone the repo locally, they actually have all of these contracts already set up in the repo, so we don't have to copy and paste everything. We can just run it. So what I'm going to do is run the apps and then look at them in post. So you can kind of have a visual to go along with what we'll be looking at in the code. So I will go into the examples, starting with the Starknet counter. So yeah, I just cloned the repo of Starknet.dart, and now I am, let me make this bigger as well. Now I am going to, can I move this? Now I'm going to CD into examples, Starknet counter. So this is the Starknet counter example that is gone through in the docs. So essentially what we can do is we can just run a Flutter run. And if you don't have Flutter, it's probably too long of a process to go through during the workshop of installing Flutter. So if you don't have it, I'd recommend just Googling like Flutter. It's a super popular framework. So um, you should be able to figure out how to download it from their docs. If you have something like a Mac, a really easy way you can install it is using like brew install task Flutter, and that should install everything for you and set you up. If you have a different operating system, yeah, I'd recommend going into the docs and figuring out how to do it for them. But yeah, we'll also be using something called the like an iOS simulator. So it allows you to kind of see the mobile development on your phone or like on a simulated phone. And to get this, it's probably different on all operating systems, but for Mac, you can install Xcode, and then you would get the mobile development plugins. And there's also tons of instructions online that make it super easy to figure out how to do that. But tangent aside, yeah, you after you do all of that, you just run Flutter run inside the Starknet counter example, and it should launch the app, hopefully. So first it'll build everything, and now it's running the Xcode build.
We have a question in the meanwhile, if it's possible.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
There's a question. So if I have a React Native mobile app, would I be able to integrate with Starknet Dart features?
So I don't know for sure if you can integrate Dart into a React Native app. I don't believe you can. Um, at the current moment, integrate Dart, or this is not even really related to the Starknet Dart in general. It's just a Dart React Native integration. I don't think it's possible. Maybe there's ways you can work around and do it, but we actually have a React Native app we're building with Starknet now as well in my team, and we're using Starknet JS. With the latest version of React Native, you can use the latest version of Starknet JS. There's actually a decent bit of features that don't work out of the box, and Starknet JS isn't like the most um, end user friendly, or it's not like the most. It's not meant for building fully fledged apps like it's not Starknet React, where it has all these different things that were designed to make development a lot quicker. But if you really need something to work, it should work for now, is what I should say. Okay, so now the app is running, and we pretty much have it here in our simulator. It's not going to work at the moment, but I'll show you what would happen if you just run Flutter run. I click get count, which essentially is going to try and get the counter's value from Starknet. And you can see I'm getting errors here with the call RPC endpoint. It's saying that there's an error reaching localhost 5050. And this is because I didn't run the devnet. So if you were following the instructions, which I skipped, you would see at the start, you should run your devnet. So essentially, yeah, there's no devnet running to connect to, so we're getting issues. So what I'll do is in a new tab, I will just run our Starknet devnet. Let me make sure I'm on the right version. Yes. Okay, so you'll just run Starknet devnet, and now we have our devnet running. how Starknet DevNet works, I won't go into it too much, but essentially it's just starting at block 0, an entirely new network that acts just like Starknet. And it starts with these 10 pre-deployed accounts that each have funds already that you can use really easily. So yeah, it makes development super quick. So now that we have that running, and we click get counter again, we get another error. So we got past this localhost issue. So now it's saying it failed to get the counter value, and that is because we never deployed the contracts. So what we need to do now that we have our DevNet running, is we need to deploy the contracts that we created or that we copied over to the DevNet. So I will do that in another tab, workshops. Okay. So I'm just going into the repo that we cloned into the Starknet counter, or sorry. So if you go into the repo that we cloned, the contracts are actually in this contracts directory. So I'll go into contracts and we'll do the v2.6.2. And if you installed scarb, you should be able to do something like scarb version, and then make sure you have it installed and then run scarb build, which will build our contracts, make sure that everything works properly. And then we can use, inside the docs, they have these Starkly commands that you can use to deploy the contracts to the DevNet. So first you want to export a private key. So this private key is one of the pre-deployed accounts from the DevNet. So I think it's this one here. Essentially, it just allows you to use an account that already exists, so you don't have to add funds to your account. And then I'll run this command to declare the contract. I think my Starkly version is wrong. So what I can do is open up this file that says tools versions, or it's vim dot, or I'm opening a file called tool-versions.tool-versions. And here we can say we want to use Starkly. We want to use Starkly 0.3.0. So I can add that here. Another way you could do it is, I believe if you had run this, or if I had run this command instead, like it shows in the docs, it would also have worked. Actually, let me just do that instead. Let me remove this. Use this global command from the docs, and now Starkly version. For me, that's not working. For some reason, that's not working for me. So I'll just add it here. Essentially, yeah, this will just say what Starkly version I want to use. And now I should be able to declare. So let me declare the contract. Config file not found. I keep error account config file not found. Okay. Maybe I should have followed the docs more closely, but essentially, yeah, we also need to create this DevNet account JSON. And all of this is explained here. I was just trying to skip through it a bit, but we need to create this DevNet account, which will tell Starkly all of our account info. Uh, and now should be able to declare. Okay, and also the name of this file is a little different here, so I'm going to change that as well. There's like a 2 after the contract, so there we go. Okay. And still more errors. We're cooking through them though. So now it says data did not match any variant of untagged enum JSON response. My DevNet account. It's, um, I'm just going to double check all my versions. Okay. Okay. So I think this might be one of the issues is I was actually on the wrong Starknet DevNet version. It should be 0.2.0. So let me try that again and then try this. Okay. Yeah, that was the issue. So yeah, versioning is very important as Starknet grows. We a lot of things change, and it's usually a lot of changes with the RPC versioning that causes issues like this. But if we, yeah, follow these specific version constraints, then hopefully there'll be less issues. So after we declare the contract, we need to deploy. I won't copy that last bit. So we deploy. I didn't copy the very last bit of the call here because we have a different class hash. So the last argument that you add here is the class hash that you declared. And now we have our contract. So this is our contract address. And inside the counter example, so now I will go back to our examples. So I'm opening this file here, this lib services counter example, which is where all of the Starknet.dart or most of the Starknet.dart integrations are. And I will put our contract address here that we just created. So now we have this contract that we're going to call with our DevNet and this account, which is one of the pre-deployed accounts from the DevNet. So now that we've done all of that, hopefully we can go back to our Flutter page or the terminal that's running Flutter, refresh it with Shift R. And now if everything works properly, we press git count and this will update here. And it did. Cool. So now counter is 1. We got the value of the counter from Starknet. And now we can increment the counter. And you can see here on the left side, we signed a transaction and sent it to Starknet. And you can see on the DevNet, every time you increment the counter, we're doing the Starknet call, estimating our fees, adding the transaction, and then getting the receipt from the transaction, which essentially means that we're checking that it worked properly. And it looks like it is. So now we can interact with Starknet completely from our app. We can increment this counter. We can actually input values as well. Like if we want to increment the counter by 100, and we can decrement the counter as well. So if you were following along, maybe I was going fast, but if you're following along, congrats on making your first Starknet app with Starknet.dart. And you can see here, if we like close the app and reopen it, since we still have our DevNet running with the contract, after it reloads, we should see that the state should still stay. So our counter should still be the same, even though we restarted the app. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to mention here. Okay. Yeah. So now if we click git counter, we can see our counter is still 107. And so what we kind of skipped past with this example is that we have this account that was already created on the DevNet, but on Starknet Sepolia and Starknet Mainnet, everybody won't already have an account that's conveniently deployed with funds and all of that. All of that will have to be done by the app developer or by the user outside of the app before they play. So every time you want to use Starknet or like every time you want to call a Starknet contract, you have to have an account. It's here for us for the DevNet, but if you want to do it on mainnet, first you have to declare your account's contract, you have to fund the account, you have to then deploy the account, and then you can use the account to call Starknet contracts. Luckily, we can use contracts or account contracts that already exist. Like they have some really popular ones, like OpenZeppelin has a lot, or OpenZeppelin has one. Argent has a few different account classes they make. Focus Tree actually has their own account classes. So we don't actually need to worry about the declare step. We can just use one of those. In our workshop, we will do the funding step, but luckily, there's a few toolings, but one in particular that's well integrated into Starknet.dart is it's called Avenue Paymaster. So Avenue has this tooling that they created to allow you to do Paymaster. And one of the Paymaster things that they allow you to do is pay the fees for people to fund their or pay the fees for people to deploy their contract accounts. So you won't actually need to worry about the funding step either. If you integrate this. This is probably outside the scope of the workshop. So we will actually fund the accounts and deploy them ourselves in this next example, which I will start now. So we did the Starknet, we just did the Starknet counter example. So now we will do the wallet app example. So I'm just inside the Starknet Dart repo we cloned, examples, wallet app, essentially. Uh, yeah. So essentially what we will do is the same spiel. We'll click or we'll do Flutter run and launch the app. While that's launching, let me go to the
There's
doc.
also a question if you want to take it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Cliff is asking, what are the key features of Starknet Dart that can give our hackathon project a competitive edge or advantage?
Um, I'd say, I mean, honestly, there's not a ton of Starknet apps in general, like mobile apps in general. So, um, creating anything that's like deployed on Sepolia, I think could be very impressive. Like if it's a fully fledged app, or not even a fully fledged app, like a just an app that has some use case behind it. But I would say using the wallet kit here that we'll get into and creating features around it to just make using the Starknet kit easier, or just having like an open source code base that can be used to quickly develop could be great. I mean, if you had time and were able to integrate Avenue Paymaster, I think that would probably really surprise me for sure. I'm sure other judges probably have different things that would surprise them more. Um, but yeah, good UX, super easy to get started. Like it feels very, very easy to get your wallet set up, um, deploy an account, and start using the app, I think would be the best. Like super easy onboarding for me. Hope that answered a bit of the question.
Thank you.
Sure. So I did Flutter run on the wallet app. I'm not sure. I got this issue earlier. I'm not super sure the reason, but essentially, it's saying that there's an issue with the wallet handler. Um, there's an issue with the wallet error handler, so I would just recommend deleting it for now. And you can also probably delete the send ETH button because we'll do our own. Hopefully, if we have time, we can do our own. And then I will rerun it. So actually, to save time, when we run this, we'll also run into another issue where we need to change our environments around. So if you open the .m file inside the wallet app, there's two different configs. One is the account class hash, which is, like I was saying earlier, you have to declare an account. We will use one that's already declared for DevNet. So if you go to your DevNet instance it tells you here that all of these accounts are pre-deployed with this class hash. So this is the class hash we'll want to use in our app. I believe this is an Open Zeppelin account. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I think this is an Open Zeppelin account. And the RPC, we will change this to just localhost. And yeah, so we changed the account class hash and RPC to localhost, and now we can run. Um, while that's loading, I will get us to here. So I'm in the Starknet.dart. Oh, sorry. There's an error. So yeah, I'm in the Starknet.dart docs in the mobile wallet section. At the bottom, there will be these commands we need to run. So I pulled that up. Unhandled exception. Okay, assets. It looks like the app launched fine, so I'll just ignore the error for now. You probably won't see this. I had already deployed a wallet, so what you'll want to do is you'll want to click here, and then there will be like a button here to create a wallet. I'll just do add another wallet. It'll look like this. So you'll click here and you'll see create a new wallet. You can write down your seed phrase if you want. I'm not too worried about it because it's just on DevNet. And I guess all of y'all see the seed phrase now, so I definitely don't want to use this account. Um, Going to skip biometrics. I'm not sure if that works on the simulator. I haven't tried it to be honest. And I will just do it with a password. I'll do Starknet Dart exclamation point. Okay, so once you deploy your wallet with the wallet app, this is what you'll see. It'll say not enough ETH. So now we're at the funding stage. So we have our declared contract or our declared account, and we need to fund it with ETH. So what you can do is you just copy this address here and go to a new terminal, and we'll want to run this command, which pretty much just mints tokens to this account that we created. So I will just copy. Actually, I think I already have it. So you'll just copy the command and you'll want to change the address to the one you just created in the app. And actually, so the address is now the address from the app. And I was trying to mint some Stark tokens, but if you don't have a unit, it will mint ETH. So we can see we just minted some tokens to our account. It won't auto refresh, so I'll just go to the Flutter tab and then refresh. And now we can see it no longer says we need funds and we can deploy our account. So we click deploy our account, type in our password. And it says that it's signed and it's deploying. I can check here on this DevNet and you can see we did the deploy account transaction and we got the receipt and I'm assuming it worked. Oh yeah, you can see it worked. Actually, no, you can't see yet, sorry. So let me just refresh. And now that the button's gone, assuming that it worked properly, and you can also see that we have 50 ETH here from when we did the mint to our address. So now we're fully connected. We have our wallet and we can use it to do anything we want on Starknet, like call contracts. Not sure if you can deploy contracts. You probably can deploy contracts as well with it and deploy other accounts and so on and so forth. What I will do, so in the Starknet Dart example project, there is this send ETH button that pretty much is just like a hard-coded way to easily send ETH if you're testing things out. What I will do is I'll create a custom function that will do or call a custom contract. I will pretty much end up doing the same thing here where I just send ETH, but the layout will be there for you to easily be able to change your contract address and your call data to where you can change it to any contract you want, um, any function call you want. It'll be super easy to change. So you should be able to just copy and paste for your hackathon or any project you want to do. So yes, let's get into that. So in similar spirit to what I was doing earlier, I don't think it's super helpful to copy all the code over live. So I created a fork of the Starknet.dart repo with all the changes already made. So what I'll do is I'll just clone that and run that instead, and then show it to you. And then if I have time, I'll briefly show the code that went into running the call. So I just created a fork of this repo so I can add a new remote, essentially just linking to my GitHub page. And let me send this in the chat actually, the link to my repo. And so I added it as a remote, and now I can fetch from my GitHub the branch that I called custom call. And now I can check out. I'm going to get rid of all these changes that I did so that they don't mess anything up. That's fine. And now I will check out the branch. Okay, so now I am on the code that I created that has this custom call. It's in the same example project, so example Starknet counter. And now we can Flutter run. Or, sorry, it's examples wallet app, and then Flutter run. While that's opening, maybe I can actually kind of show the code. So essentially what we're doing here is we created this do transaction function that will first take the account, your account from your wallet that you created, and let me make it a little bigger. It will take the account from the wallet you created. We set up the call data here, so we're doing a transfer. So for a transfer function, you first send the to address. So this is just like a random address that I'm sending money to. And then you send the amount that you want to send, which is first here. This is the lower value, which is usually what you worry about in a send. So I'm sending 0.0001 ETH. And this is the higher value. If you're interested in how felt and U256's work, essentially they're split into two different felts, but probably outside the scope of this. But essentially, yeah, we're doing the transfer here. So now we set up the account call. So this is very similar to how like something like Starknet.js would work, where you use your account and then you execute a function call on it, essentially specifying the contract address. So this is the ETH contract address, the ETH token contract address. We're saying we want to do a transfer, and we're passing the call data we defined up here, saying we want to transfer to this address with this amount. And we set up a max fee. So this is the max amount of a fee you're willing to pay. I just like hard coded a value here because it will only really use the amount of fee that you actually needed. This is just like a safeguard in a way. And then here we wait for the transaction to finish and make sure that everything finished okay. And yeah, now it's running. So I had already created this account with y'all earlier. So now I can just press send, type in my password, Starknet.dart. And you can see here on the left the transaction hash that just went through. So if I refresh, you can see here my balance went down because I sent the ETH. So that means that it worked. And on Starknet DevNet, you can see also the transaction went through here. So if you want, what you would do to change this for your contracts is you would create your own way to compile the call data down. So every contract function is going to have different call data that you need. And then you would want to change this here to match your contract address and the function call you want to use. You can probably keep this the same, but if you're really feeling safe with your functions and stuff, you can increase this a bit to just make things a little easier maybe. And otherwise, yeah, just copy the changes I did here and use them. You can look at this diff and maybe it'll point you a bit in the right direction. But yeah, I guess that's the main meat and potatoes of everything. So I think that's it. Here's a QR code to the Starknet.dart repo. There was also links sent in the chat if you want to click those. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching and appreciate it.
Well, Brandon, thank you very much for this great workshop and all hands. There are a couple of questions maybe we can answer if you're interested. So the first one would be, can Starknet Dart support multi-contract architectures efficiently in a mobile UI?
Yes. So if I understand properly, yes, it definitely can. So what you would pretty much do is create different functions like this, but for each different contract you're using, you would replace this with a different contract address. So if you have like 5 different contracts you're trying to use, you could create like, or 5 different contracts, each with like 3 different functions, you would create like 15 different, or 5 times 3, 15 different functions with all the different contracts, entry points and stuff. Or maybe you could create some better architecture where you just have one function and you just like pass certain arguments to it to efficiently do multi-contract architectures. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. And there's another one. Can you give some idea about typical issues, gotchas we may encounter when we integrate Starknet Dart? Any heads up will be helpful.
Yes. So for sure, versioning, you'll want to make sure you're using the right versions of everything. I even ran into issues with that here live. So make sure you're running the right versions. And this is for Starknet development in general as well, is making sure you're using the right versions. I also ran into issues with RPC providers when I was trying to do things on Sepolia. So when you're deploying on Sepolia, um, I recommend using, okay, also word piece. I'm going to pull up some code so you can see. So I've been recently making a Flutter app for art piece, and you can see in, is it not here? Lib services contract. Uh, okay. Essentially, sorry, maybe it's not here. But you'll want to make sure you're using the right RPC version. I believe RPC version 7 is supported now. If it's not 7, you can try 8. And you'll want to make sure you're using the right class hash. Not all class hashes are supported yet on Starknet Dart. Essentially, every different type of class can have different ways of like signing, for instance. So each of them require a different integration. So I know for sure Open Zeppelin accounts work. There's also the Starknet Focus Tree has their own accounts. And this is the one that I actually used for art piece. So if you go into the focus or the Starknet.dart repo, examples, NFT, they have this environment mainnet example, and you can copy. Oh, this is actually good. So you can use this Starknet RPC and this account class hash when you're doing Sepolia or mainnet development at the moment. That's what I would recommend. Just you can try other class hashes if you want, but if you just want it to work out of the box, I'd recommend this class hash and this RPC for sure.
Thank you very much. And the final question from me, usually something that I always like to ask at the end of every workshop. What type of applications would you like to see built during this hackathon? Any specific applications you can think of could work really well with Starknet, but also like show the power and the features of Starknet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm personally really into games and like building games. So if you can put together a game really quickly, I think that'd be awesome. If I don't know if there's any mobile native apps that are integrating with Dojo engine. So Dojo is like a game engine built by the cartridge team. So if you're able to throw together a game or maybe even not a game using Dojo with Starknet.dart that uses Starknet.dart on the front end, I think that would be really cool. Um, Outside of gaming, I think some more DeFi type applications would be interesting, like just having a super simple wallet. Like there are mobile wallets on or for Starknet, but having something super simple integrated with Starknet Dart, I think could be really good. It could even be just a good like demo repo that people could go look at to help build their apps easily, or something more complex like doing um like a DEX trading or uh integrating some kind of randomness with Pragma could be interesting as well. But yeah, I mean I'm not super keen on any particular kind of app outside of games, I guess. But I'm very interested in everything, wide scope of stuff that can be done here, I think.
Thank you, Brandon. That was super useful and insightful. I think that's roughly it. We can wrap the workshop here. So again, thank you for hosting this. Showing us the workshop and how Starknet Dark works. I think it was a fantastic introduction into mobile development for Starknet. Key takeaways for the audience. Now you know how to build mobile apps with Starknet Dart and create mobile apps. So I'm looking forward to the submissions. As a reminder, there's a bounty of $10,000 in start prizes for building mobile apps with Starknet Dart. So make sure to check it out. And just a reminder, we have our final workshop that starts roughly, I think, in 11 minutes, which is create ZKTLS proof identity. It's an interesting workshop and cutting edge stuff. So hopefully will tune in. And thank you all for joining. Thank you again, Brandon, for the workshop. And keep building. And see you in just a bit.
Yeah, thank you for letting me host. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.